Hey, what's going on guys? DeJesus here. Today I've got two awesome pairs of custom cleats to share with you guys that we made for Quandre Diggs of the Tennessee Titans. And we may just have a really cool free download for you guys later in the video. But first, please go ahead and drop a like on it, subscribe if you haven't already, and now, let's get into it. So for the cement print pair, we'll be using one of these Nike Dunk Low cleats as our base. This is actually my first time working on one of these models this season, and I'm a really big fan of these. I always like to try to find a few different color combinations for something like this. I ended up landing on this one that I like the most, and what works out nicely here, a little tip for you guys, anytime you're doing a cement print theme, if the color of the lines within the pattern itself match any of your other panels, you can paint all of those at the same time. This can save you a bit of time in your overall process since it's less panels you need to mask off, but it won't apply to every design. But in my case, it works out nicely since I want the cement print lines to be navy blue along with the quarter panels and toe box, so I can start by painting all of those at the same time. After we get that navy blue laid down, we can move into prepping our stencil next. For reference, I'm using Oracal 811 vinyl here, and the first thing you'll want to do is flip the stencil over to remove the backing. Then, since the stencil is now entirely attached to the transfer tape, you can slowly but surely start weeding out all of the unnecessary pieces. Once we've removed everything we don't need from the stencil, I then like to take what we have left and loosely place it over the shoe just to get a feel for where I want it to go. Once I'm happy with that placement, I'll start firmly pressing down on all of the major contact areas. However, before removing any transfer tape, I like to cut off any excess pieces that I know won't be used, whether that be anything that's landing on the midsole or any panels that I know won't be painted either. This is just going to make working with the stencil and removing all of that transfer tape a whole lot easier. Then you can start peeling that transfer tape back in a slow diagonal fashion, and with one of my hands I like to try to always make sure that I'm constantly pressing down on all of the vinyl that is now exposed, just to make sure it's not going to lift up and it's no longer attached to any of that transfer tape. Now you might notice that I'm doing this in multiple different sheets or on different sections of the shoe, and the reason for that is just because there's so many different curves and contours of the shoe that trying to do this in one long continuous piece would just make your job infinitely harder. So all you really need to do is make sure that you line up your sheets as close as possible, just to really make sure that there's minimal gaps between the different lines, and then later down the line you can actually go in and fill these in by hand, and it's actually a lot easier than it sounds. I can then repeat these same steps of laying down the cement print across all of the various panels of the cleat. Once that's complete and we give it a good heat setting, we can then seal the stencil by painting the same color we have underneath the vinyl, which in this case is navy blue as our first coat on top. Since I'm doing a much lighter color than our navy blue for the rest of this design, I'll actually follow that navy blue up with a coat of mist, and then we can move into our Titans blue next. After the painting is complete, it's crucial that you once again heat set the stencil to not only help loosen up its adhesion, but also to prevent any paint from peeling along with it. Now we're finally ready for the best part of these, and that's going to be peeling all of that cement print vinyl up. And here's a look at how that turned out. I think that cement print is easily one of the most iconic and classic themes that you can do with custom shoes, or especially custom cleats. I mean, you can find a way to make this theme work with any team's colorways. You really just need to find the right balance for the rest of the design. Now we've got just a few different things left to do on this pair, such as connecting some of the lines from the 2 different sheets where things didn't quite connect, and paint some of the Nike branding back onto the tongue tags and back tab. I actually thought the metallic silver swoosh with that white stroke outline worked pretty well with this theme, so I decided to leave that part alone. And here's a final look at how this cement print pair turned out. Now for the Kobe X-Ray pair, I'll be using one of these Nike Vapor Edge Speed 362 cleats. That is quite a name for these, so I wanted to make sure that I got it right. And this theme was really quite a doozy to try to do. I mean, as soon as these dropped, I had a really strong feeling this was going to be one of those pairs that a lot of people wanted to try to recreate across different cleats and other shoes as well. I mean, that's always going to happen when you have a really cool Kobe theme like this, and actually thought when just looking at them, they almost kind of lined up with the Titans colors as well. Yeah, maybe we could go with a slightly darker shade of blue, but nonetheless, I knew that I could do them in something that would line up really well with their uniforms. And so diving into these, one thing that made them a really big challenge was just trying to get a good foot X-ray stencil made. What made this so difficult is that with the stencil, you're essentially taking a 2D image and trying to wrap it around an entire cleat. Unfortunately, there's not one singular image or view that you can use as a template for the entire thing. Even if you took the top-down view, for example, that does show all 5 toes, that is one flat scan, and you can't use that to properly wrap around all of the curves of the outside and insides of the shoes without it actually warping on itself. So the best thing that I could do in this case was just try to combine as many different reference images as possible together. I ended up kind of doing each of the toes individually. I'm sure in a perfect world there's probably some 3D technology where it could actually scan the base shoe and pump out a perfect stencil for you to use, but maybe I just don't know about that technology quite yet, if it even exists. I also wanted to make sure that you guys didn't have to quite suffer through all of this trial and error, so I turned this into a free stencil that you guys can download from our website now. Now, when it comes to laying the stencil down onto the cleat, I'm constantly referring back to photos of the base shoe just so I can make sure everything has a very similar alignment. You definitely want to make sure that your left shoe and right shoe are also going to be lining up properly as well. Once we've got all of the positive pieces of our stencil laid down, which are the individual flanges, we can then lay down all of the negative portions of the stencil surrounding it. You might notice that I've cut some of the surrounding pieces of the stencil into some smaller subsections, and that's really just to help make your life easier when it comes to wrapping all of these pieces around all of those different curves that we have here near the front of the shoe. And here's how they should look right before it's time to paint them. Now, I can promise you painting this X-ray effect looks way more difficult than it actually is, and you don't need to be a master airbrusher by any means to pull this off. When I started to actually take a closer look at these and really wanted to tackle this theme, I kind of thought to myself, I don't know if I can quite do that with my airbrush. I figured I'm gonna need a really solid game plan on just how I'm gonna do these before I go out there and embarrass myself. And then finally, after staring at the image for so much longer, something just finally clicked inside of my head when I realized if you take a look at all of the white around everything, it's essentially just like a vignette, which is something anybody can do with an airbrush. When doing something like this, I really don't like to even get started until I can comfortably say what my next step will be at any point in the process. So rather than just completely being overwhelmed by the image, I like to just try to break it down into very basic colors and shapes. That's all it is at the end of the day, colors and shapes, and there's no reason that you need to be overwhelmed by that. The first couple of things that I noticed about the image is that there's essentially a white vignette around all of the individual bones. There's a lot of light blue everywhere, a little bit of a darker blue in the middle, and then in a very few select spots is your darkest blue, almost like a black. So with that information, now I think we can go about doing this with 4 main colors. Starting with our light blue at the bottom, since that color is everywhere, and then we can go with a slightly darker blue, which is going to be near the middle of the bones a lot of the times, and then we'll move into our navy blue just in the various spots where it calls for it on each of the individual bones, and then we're going to hit everything with a white vignette. Simple enough, right? What could go wrong? Step 1, get that light blue laid down everywhere. Step 2, take your slightly darker blue and paint that near the middle of each bone. Make sure you have a reference image pulled up nearby, just so you can constantly double check the general shape of what you want to be painting. Step 3, now you should be getting a hang of things, and it's time to paint in our darkest blue. This step's also made much easier by having the stencil in place, because you can easily identify where all of the curves of the individual bones are, and that removes any guesswork from where your dark spots will need to be. If it feels a little scary or unnatural at first, don't worry, especially if you're not used to doing a lot of detail work with your airbrush. Just continue to practice off to the side, clean off your nozzle, make sure you don't have any dried up tip, and you want to be spraying with confidence here. When you're confident in what your next step will be, you spend way less time second guessing yourself and overthinking things, because you know you're not ready to move on until you've completed everything right before you can move into that next phase. Step 4, time for that white vignette, and that's where these are truly going to start to come together. And here's how they turned out with all of the airbrushing complete. I don't consider myself a detailed airbrush artist by any means. I use the same exact airbrush for everything. I never tweak the settings on it, and I just want to show that you don't need the world's craziest airbrush setup to pull off something really cool like this. When it was time to pull all of that tape and vinyl back, I was really excited to see what these were going to look like underneath. I was really pleased with how they turned out, and then I decided to add just a very thin outline around everything just to clean things up a bit. We've got a couple things left to do to really help sell that Kobe 5 look on these, starting off with that Kobe logo on the tongue tags, and then some of our Nike swooshes on the outside and insides of the shoes. Here's my bonus tip of the day for you. If you ever find yourself in a situation like this, where I have a swoosh that I'm working on and I want to do a stroke or outline with it, I always like to start by laying down the outline color first. And the reason for that is because then I can print a separate stencil of just the outline that I'm gonna place right along that outer edge. And this is gonna work a lot easier than trying to take that bigger portion, the inner portion of the stencil, whatever your main color is, and trying to place that right in the middle of the swoosh. It would just be a whole lot harder to ensure that you have the exact same width all the way around for that actual outline. But if we do it this way, with that outline cut as a separate stencil, now we can ensure that we're gonna have the same exact line width all the way around. And then the last step for these is gonna be to lay down some vinyl curves along with a highlight that's going to mimic the panels near the rear of the Kobe 5s. Working on both of these shoes during the same week was really interesting for me, especially now looking back at some of the footage. One of these themes is just something that I've done hundreds of times that I could do in my sleep at this point. I know what it's gonna be like every step of the journey. And then the other pair, the X-ray theme, was so much just methodically, slowly trying to figure things out, trying to peel back all of the layers of the onion and really just trying to see if I could tackle something like this without really knowing how I'm gonna do it at first. Whew, man. Those were tough to pull off, but hopefully you guys enjoyed them. And please make sure you go ahead and download that free stencil that we have linked down below. This was a really cool theme to try to tackle, and I'm really pleased with how they turned out. And it's always worth it when you get to see your work hit the field. Now, please make sure you go ahead, drop a like on this video if you haven't already. Make sure you're subscribed, and everybody get out there and just create.